What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning to you. What's going on? Let me make sure that this thing is all set up. I had so much time this morning. I was up early. I was like, man, I can just and then it all just always gets away from me. I always have to be a few minutes late. So I apologize. It's just in my DNA. Guys, look, good morning to Michael. Pepe Cooper is loading their troops. What's up? Good morning, Blade, Maximus. And he misses the scream, it looks like. First time saying words today. I had more confidence in my throat than apparently my throat has energy, but that's okay. Good morning, Mort. Good morning, Richard. Thank you for encouraging the likes. Let's like it, folks. Let's get this going. There's a lot of things going on. Richard's made 1.5 cents on $125 in the guard pool on Pact. Well, if I'm reading that correctly, that's something else, Richard. I'm getting better. It doesn't sound like it, but I'm getting better. Just one, though, so you guys will have to share. All right, let's get to the top of here to say good morning. Where's Crypto for Change? Where's our buddy Leaks is here? What's up? Good morning, Richard Harris. How you doing? Wilder, good to see you, buddy. Hope everyone is having a wonderful morning, he says. Christopher Cooper, here you are, buddy. Dragonfly's in the building. Haven't seen you in a bit. Nice to see you, buddy. Buddy, I'm calling everybody buddy. Hey, buddy. People don't really like buddy, right? Sorry. I really did think that I was feeling better, and then I started talking, and it's catching up to me. Let's drink some coffee in a film lens glass. You know, there's a lot going on. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, guys? Lots going on. We got the FOMC, FOMC. That meeting starts today. I promise that this entire episode isn't going to be me coughing to the side because that would be unattractive. And if there's anything I want for you guys, for you gentlemen, is for me to be attractive. You know what I mean? It's important to all of you. I understand. But yeah, we got that meeting today. There's going to be some earnings, I'm sure, today. I don't remember who it is, but we'll check it out. They'll be important. I think Uber exceeded expectations today. So there you go. There's a win for all you Uber holders. And yeah, we got Dragonfly Pack Farms. Yield details are live in the app. Doesn't suck. I can't wait. I haven't actually looked at the packed farms yet. I've seen the Tiny Man farms. There's some good ones over there. It'll be great to see what Pack's doing as well. Michael Norris is here. What's up? Good morning, Kenrick. How you doing? Fuzzy, what's up? Greetings to you too. And Governor's Hat, good morning, buddy. Buddy, here it goes again, man. All right, so let's just get to the bottom of here. Django, what's going on? Good morning. Everyday Algonaut, Ludo, thanks for showing up. Bar Therapy, there you go. He mentions it. Bar Therapy Magazine. $ Pepe, the Messina Bridge. I bet you brought to you by friend of the show, John Mazzoni. I mean, Messina brought it, but I'm sure John has been hassling them. Another friend of the show, Kevin. If you guys all know Kev, I think these guys made it happen. So I don't know how that's going to work or what it's going to look like, but Pepe's coming to Algorand, folks. It was already here. You know, I was thinking about it today, and all of your enthusiasm for Pepe made me second guess how angry I was at that Prim guy for Panda Chain. I wasn't really angry. I don't get angry at things like that. Dragon, Don, what's up? Good. Welcome, buddy. Thank you for coming. Man, that's the last time I'm saying buddy this morning. I'm done. I love buddy, man. Damn it. I said it again. Buddy, old pal, Felicia. I'm not going to call you buddy. It's nice to have you here, Felicia. Thank you. Somebody. I'm not going to make that joke. It's somebody for me to be attractive for. That's what I was going to say. Okay. Governor's Hat. I didn't need to be. All right. Anyways, enough of that. James. Okay, now we're going. I like Buddy too. Buddy's my cat. Aw, AC Max has got a cat named Buddy. James is here. Pablo's here. All right. Maximus is here. Robbie's here. Here we go. It's Buddy Man. What the fuck? And he just says, "What the fuck?" Ah, love that guy. He's peace on earth right there. You know, I have to say, if you guys have been following me in the past 2 months, I have been what's the word? I've been questioning some things about that are in the Algorand ecosystem. I've been asking questions. And if you've been following me for longer than the last 3 months, for the last 2.5 years or whatever it's been, this hasn't been 2.5 years, but it's been a couple years. You know how enthusiastic I am about Algorand, right? And lately, I've had questions about certain things. I'm not going to sit here and talk about them today because you could watch the video I put out on Saturday if you want to know the questions. And by the way, if you want to know why I've been bullish as well. And the reason I think some of you might be like, oh, well, you're fudding your own bags and, you know, da-da-da-da-da. No, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. Well, kind of, I guess. But no, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is that I've been unabashedly enthusiastic about Algorand for a while, for good reason. I mean, it was just all pure. It's not like I got paid to say it. I didn't do any of that. But the point is now and lately, I have felt a responsibility because I've had genuine questions that I think are based in reality, and I've had to ask them. For you guys that I've been enthusiastic for, I now have questions. I want you guys to take part in that so you can make informed decisions. But I got to say, some news from yesterday has me more excited than I've been about Algorand for a while. We're going to talk about that. I'm excited. Yesterday, and it was a wonderful coincidence, and that's why I'm a little disappointed that our friend, Crypto for Change, isn't here because Coop is questioning. Let's see. Is he here? He's not here. Okay, good. So I can talk shit about their interview. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But Gary Maloof went on the Next Block yesterday, and there was some interesting discoveries. And then as earlier in that day, actually, I posted an article from 6 years ago, 2017, in April 2017. So literally 6 years ago. And okay, Shek is here. He smashed the like button. He said, smash the like button. I didn't talk shit about it. He's like, just do it. Who's at the beach? Oh, Crypto for Change. Yeah, I know. Just sitting there on the beach, stay-at-home dad, smoking a joint with the baby on his lap, thinking, what am I going to do today? This is Crypto for Change's problems. Am I going to go shitpost about Pepe, or am I going to go get a falafel at this lovely place that I can walk to with my baby and eat falafel? I don't know why it's falafel, folks. He lives in Florida and he's getting falafel. All right, just click the like button, guys. Subscribe and share it too, Michael. You guys are right. CJ's here. I'm just glad that our buddy Crypto for Change is in here so we can talk about their interview without feeling like we have to hold back. I'm just kidding. All right, but we are going to definitely dive into why I'm excited about Algorand, or I have a refreshed feeling. I think that's what I should call it. Not excited. I'm still, I still have my questions, but I have a refreshed feeling. But before we do that, I haven't really even looked at the news today. So we're going to go explore the noise a little bit, navigate the noise, like somebody in this comment once said. I think it was actually a comment on the thing, is like, I enjoy watching. This was early of my morning show, which was only a couple months ago. He said, I enjoy watching you navigate the noise. And I thought, man, this guy is freaking, Dylan Thomas over here. I love it. Dylan Thomas, isn't he an Irish poet? All right. I've been to his bar. I think I puked inside of the White Horse in New York City, which I believe was Dylan Thomas's bar. All right. I did that in my early 20s. I also, if you guys are familiar with the West Village, I also went to a place called Automatic Slims, and in a drunken fit with a British guy that was irritating me, I literally stood on the bar in a pretty much a blackout. I remember it. And I screamed, flying headbutt, jumped off the bar and headbutted that guy and floored him. And then this was a bar I went to all the time. And then I went and got a slice of pizza because they kicked me out, obviously. And then I came back just trying to get back in, like nothing had happened. Like, I just went to go get a piece of pizza. I just remember the door guy being like, how about you just come back tomorrow? And then in the twist, why am I telling you guys this story? I have no idea. This is an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. This is a Zoom Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And but the funny part about this story is the British guy that I knocked out with the flying headbutt was trying to talk the doorman into letting me back in. So shout out to all you Brits out there. You can take a flying headbutt and you don't really give a shit. I appreciate it. He was Welsh. He might have been, actually. His name was Tom. Tom, was it McDonough? I don't know. A funny guy. He was a funny guy. He was irritating me that night, but it was all, drunken AA. I needed this. All right, guys. Let's go to Maximus's favorite website, CNBC. Let's go. Maximus is always tweeting about how much he loves CNBC. All right, so let's share the screen. Like, I kind of just forgot how to do that. That's funny. And then we go back here and we open it. All right, cool. All right. So Morgan Stanley is laying off 3,000 people. Futures. Okay, so the Dow's down 100 points, and the S&P and NASDAQ is certainly sideways. S&P is basically, sideways as well. Oil is pushing down. One of the big recession concerns here is that OPEC plus or whatever is cutting the oil that they're distributing to pump up the price, but the price is okay. Jesus, after the news that they were going to be cutting down the supplies that they're going to be sending out, oil got over $80, but it's been pushing down ever since. I didn't say that very well. You guys will forgive me. First Republic deal from JP Morgan came in right before this Fed meeting. So that's probably giving them certainly the green light to raise interest rates, which the market is certainly expecting, but I get the feeling we're going to have a dicier week. I think it's going to come in as expected, but I guess it's always just about what old Jerry says in his interview, in his question and answer, or his presentation, or whatever, his announcement. Jesus, give me a break, guys. Hey, this earnings season has been pretty darn good, and several companies stand out, says Jim Cramer. So guaranteed Apple is going to be a disaster this week. Chegg, man, these guys, this was a darling of, 2020. Chegg. It was, I'm sure some of you might be in college and use tools like that. We didn't have that as kid. We had Cliff Notes when I was in college, and we had Google. But anyways, I'm not that old. But anyways, the point is Chegg is like a homework helper, textbook rental thing. And they basically came out and said, AI is screwing up our business model. And then the stock fell like 50%. So I wouldn't buy Chegg if I were you. Not financial advice. All right, CNBC, you're boring. Let's go to Bloomberg. There's that same news. First Republic sale fills bankers with relief and worry. Okay. Chase Bank keeps on getting bigger. Already the biggest, most successful bank probably in the world. Just keeps on getting bigger. They're not, IBM announced that they are not going to be hiring. Oh, it's right here. I just read I don't have to mess around. IBM to pause hiring for jobs that AI could do. We're going to hear a lot of that. That's that deflation. If you're a big Kathy Woods fanboy, she has been pounding the drum on how tech is going to be extraordinarily deflationary over the next 5 years. She said that, 2 years ago? So it's still, maybe she's not as dumb as some of these people like to make her out to be. Okay. Insiders. Coinbase insiders sued for dumping stock, saving $1 billion. The complaint seeks. Okay, this is just like I'm not going to read about that. I mean, do you guys want to read about this? I don't think that this is all that serious. I mean, it is serious because it sounds like insider trading. But they sold a bunch of stock and then the price went down a lot. And investors are like, we want money. That these types of lawsuits usually don't work out for the people suing. But we all know that Coinbase would play games with their listings and stuff like that. But I think this is more to do with the stock. Yeah, dumping stock. Okay. Sorry, I said 50%, but it was only a 38% sell-off in the homework help firm Chegg. I mean, you literally don't even have to do homework anymore. You can just, all you do is you write a crappy paper, you put it into AI, and then it makes it a nice paper. It's really like, I don't know, interesting. I mean, this is like changing fast. All right. Stories for you. I mean, the sun, the banking world revolves around, and then there he is, the sun, Jamie Dimon. China tourists are going everywhere. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not really seeing any mainstream news that is capturing me. Were you guys captured by any of that? I'm not captured. Let's go to Coinbase. Or not Coinbase, CoinDesk. So Bitcoin, and we're going to get to CoinMarketCap in a second, but Bitcoin is, sitting at 28,000 for a bit now. It fell underneath 28,000. We'll see. I think we're all waiting to see what the interest rates are. We're waiting for just a lot of different things. The SEC, what's their next move? All that garbage. People are so afraid of Pepe. I see like some NFT accounts and they're really passionate about how dangerous and how stupid and how awful Pepe is. But is there anybody out there that doesn't know that Pepe eventually is going to go to zero? Everybody knows, right? And I guess some people hope that Pepe becomes the new Shiba. So, you might get a couple of years like Shiba. But there's never been any reason for Shiba, by the way. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Because Shiba was never funny. It was like literally just the angry looking Doge. It was just never funny. It was a derivative of a joke. Doge and Pepe at least were solid memes before they came into existence. So I'm actually, frankly, rooting for Pepe to take all of the Shiba liquidity. And I'm sorry if you're a Shiba whale. I actually think I have Shiba somewhere because I don't know what I did. And then they gave me a bunch, but it's probably locked on that exchange. They're not going to let me send it off. And I don't really care. I don't even want it. I don't want your Shiba, whatever that weird exchange was. All right. Coinbase, 23 minutes ago. Let's read about it. I mean, we've heard about it, but they actually opened it, huh? These guys on Thursday are going. That's the other big news. This man right here, look at that face. Look at that smile. What am I doing? But yeah, so these people are going to be reporting their earnings on Thursday. And if you've been watching my show the past couple of months and checking volumes, you will know that volume is low. So, and it's been very low. And whenever there has been volume, it's been on Binance. So I have a hard time believing that their numbers are going to be all that great. And I have a hard time believing that they're going to have particularly rosy guidance for the US. But maybe things like this is what they're going for. Based in Bermuda, Coinbase International Exchange will not open to US traders. They're doing it. They're doing it, folks. They're doing the two-tiered thing, like Binance, like FTX. Kraken, I think, is doing it as well. Crypto trading firm Coinbase is opening a derivatives exchange in Bermuda as part of an international expansion plan that comes as the publicly traded firm faces regulatory headwinds at home. Called Coinbase International Exchange. They really dug deep for that one. The new facility will initially let traders bet on the price of Bitcoin and Ether via perpetual futures contracts with up to 5x leverage. All trades will settle in the stablecoin USDC. In a blog post, Coinbase said trading has begun. The move represents Coinbase's latest foray into derivative trading, one of the most popular corners of the global crypto market, despite being effectively iced out of the US, where such activities require hefty oversight. Rest assured that Coinbase is committed to the US, but countries around the world are increasingly moving forward with responsible crypto-forward regulatory frameworks to strategically position themselves as crypto hubs. We would like to see the US take a similar approach instead of regulation by enforcement, which has led to a disappointing trend for crypto development in the US. Those pressures are prompting other US-based crypto companies to look offshore too. Also, Tuesday, Gemini announced the launch of its own international crypto derivatives exchange. So Gemini is going to launch an exchange like Coinbase so they can be the international version of Coinbase that nobody uses. Does anybody actually use Gemini? I've tried to use Gemini, but the fees were always way too high, and it was annoying. I don't know why anybody would use Gemini. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't used it enough. Is that the problem? That I haven't used Gemini enough? Maybe that's the problem. You guys can see all this, right? I'm not just yammering and you guys can't even see the visual. All right. Coinbase faced with too much regulatory uncertainty, rating cut to neutral. So Citibank just cut their rating of Coinbase. Revolut moving into Brazil. All right. All right. We read all that. We did lots of reading there. Let's go to CoinMarketCap. I know you guys don't like it when I check Pepe here, but I'm going to check Pepe. Oh, look, Sui's out. We got Sui in the building. What is that thing at? $2. $2.30. Fully diluted. It's got a $23 billion market cap. So that's not going to last. $23 billion seems a bit ridiculous for something on IOU. Oh, these are IOUs. I was like, is that their? They should have just gone. I don't understand what's happening. Sorry. All right. I don't care about that. Let's get off of Sui. I don't know enough about Sui. I just know it's in the same vein as Aptos, but supposed to be better. All right. Bitcoin, 28,000. Volume is super low. Just under 16 billion. Ethereum, 1800. Well, I mean, 1830. Volume low, 7 billion. XRP pushing up a little bit. Cardano at 38.5 cents. Dot's down a little bit more than everybody else. $88 for Litecoin. What do we got? Algorand. I remember when Algorand was up here. You guys remember right around here? We were ahead of Cosmos. Cosmos got all hit because of Luna. They've recovered. Let's see. Aptos is under $10. That SUI, that Aptos money is moving to the SUI. The sewage. Just kidding. Sewage. Hedera is down pretty significantly over the last day. Near's down. Algo is at 17.5 cents. Mamma mia. 41. $33 million in volume. Couple of spots behind ApeCoin. VeChain, near. All right. With less volume overall. So eyes are not on Algorand right now. And let's see. Guys, here, the Messina Bridge is bringing Pepe to all my friends. Algorand back up to almost a $500 million market cap. Yeehaw. There we go. Look at that. Had a nice recovery, and then they sold it. And maybe it's going to recover again. So, hey, you're playing the game, folks. It's okay to take profits. But if your thesis is what I said, Pepe is the new Shiba, then it does seem like they've programmed $1 billion market cap, haven't they? Feels like that. And folks, look, like it's a hard capped asset. You know what I mean? There's only 420 trillion of these. Only 420 trillion, 690 billion of these. So, I mean, look, it's a scarce asset like gold. You know, this is a store of value. 420 trillion. That's a lot. That's a big number. All right. Enough of that. Let's go to Vestige. How are you doing, Vestige? How are my friends at Vestige doing? We got ASAs. Looks like they're moving down. Chips got a little bit of life in the last hour. Nothing to write home about, but it's at least there's a good color. DFly's up a little bit over the last 24 hours. Bank. We had a buy. Big bank. Bought some bank. Up 8%. That's good. I have my bank locked in until I am 476 years old. There you go. This makes sense. Cosmic Gold. So there's a lot of green, actually. And Opal is pushing down a little bit. We'll see where it goes. But Cosmic Gold is up. There is some juicy. They like to use that word, don't they? Creeps most people out. But there's some juicy yield. Juicy. Like those pants that said juicy on them. Anybody, any of you fellas wear those juicy pants? Wow. That's what you guys get when you encourage me to just speak like I want. All right, so we got finite. Man, what is going on with headline? You guys okay? Are you okay, headline? Can you guys tell me, is there anybody left in this chat that is bullish headline? Will you tell me why they are down 14% over the last 24 hours? Like, what is going down? Did they just unlock a bunch and people are getting out? Because that looks like a race to not somewhere good. All right. I got to say, and look, I don't know a lot about a lot of things. What does that mean? I do, but I just want to say I'm not trying to talk about. I'll just say chips. Chips is a very interesting project, and you should look into it. Like you can take part in the house. Basically, it's kind of fun. So I'm interested. All right, real quick, let's look at gold. This isn't the most exciting thing to check daily because it almost never moves. It actually is down a bit over the last 30 days, but it's moving back up to 2000. So we're looking at gold around 2000 for the last couple of weeks, and silver's probably around 25 bucks. Pushed down a little bit below 25. So silver's hurting, but it is what it is. Fear and greed. Are we fearful yet? We're not fearful yet, folks. We're still greedy. Yesterday, we were super greedy. But then after we ended the show, I think Bitcoin dropped like 1,500 or something. Or maybe that happened later. I don't know. Oh, there's a next update in 10 hours. So anyways, we're still in greed. We're going to, guys, this is coming. I know it's coming. We're going to get fearful again. And then we're going to get super greedy. It's just the way it goes. All right. Silver price, we don't need. We just did the fear and greed. Okay, earnings. Let's look at that real quick. And then we'll get to some fun stuff. All right. So we got Pfizer already. I don't know what they did, and who cares? And AMD after the bell. That's a big one. We'll see how that chip company's doing. I think that they had a rough, if I remember correctly, they had a rough earnings recently. Starbucks later should be fine. Uber, like I said earlier, did well. And then you get you get hotels. Ford should be interesting. GM had good earnings. Ford has been struggling a bit. We'll see how their, electric vehicles and everything. They have that Mustang, which looks pretty cool. The EV Mustang. I'm not just talking about Mustangs in general. They got that Mustang. Have you guys heard of it? Ford Mustang. It's this new cutting edge car. I never had a Mustang. My first car though was a Chevy. It was a 1971 Chevy Camaro. My dad was a mechanic. He owned a gas station, a mobile gas station, and he also worked in the shop. And he had cool muscle cars. So my first one, he's a big Corvette guy, my dad. But he had a Camaro and he gave it to me. Coors is probably doing well with all the drama, all the Budweiser drama, everybody buying Coors Light. All right, that's it. And then we got tomorrow, obviously, is a huge day because we're going to hear from Jerry. Qualcomm also tomorrow, which is interesting to me because I have a position in that. All right, cool. There's that. All right, we already looked at. So, by the way, MicroStrategy reported yesterday, and it's interesting because I read two different. Here, do you want to look at that real quick? Let's just look at that real quick because that's interesting. That's interesting. All right, Bitcoin gets fresh vote of confidence as MicroStrategy adds to its holdings. Okay. All they do is add. All right, MicroStrategy added 7,500 Bitcoin to its balance sheet in the first quarter of the year when it saw profit rise to 461.2 million. And that's the good thing about, Bitcoin going up, 70% since January 1st. And MicroStrategy does well when that happens. MicroStrategy, the software firm best known for its bet on the largest cryptocurrency by market cap, said Monday that it added 7,500 Bitcoin to its balance sheet in the first quarter of the year, bringing its total to 140,000, currently worth almost $4 billion. The conviction in our Bitcoin strategy remains strong as the digital asset environment continues to mature. Loss from operations also improved in the quarter. MicroStrategy co-founder Michael Saylor posted a graph on Twitter that showed how the company had outperformed other companies and indexes since it admitted its Bitcoin strategy. The company's shares were up 1.2% in post-market trading. In Bitcoin, we trust. Sailor wrote earlier in the day. Okay. I've mentioned Axelar before on the show. That's interesting. You can look at that. Do you guys want to look at that? I kind of do. Old old attention disorder here. Cosmos-based project Sommelier is now running cross-chain DeFi vaults on Ethereum Layer 2 network Arbitrum. Axelar runs a general-purpose communication protocol between Cosmos and Ethereum smart contracts supporting blockchains. Interoperability protocol Axelar has enabled Sommelier, a yield optimization protocol on Cosmos, to become a cross-chain application by connecting it with Ethereum Layer 2 network Arbitrum 1. Sommelier's DeFi vaults automatically rotate capital across different assets and let users optimize yields on their crypto assets through lending and trading services. These DeFi vaults operate on Sommelier's own blockchain in the Cosmos ecosystem in Ethereum, and now they will be available on Arbitrum, a Layer 2 blockchain developed by Off-Chain Labs. At Off-Chain Labs, we are delighted to welcome high-caliber protocols such as Sommelier, who focus on finding innovative ways to improve capital efficiency in DeFi on Arbitrum 1. This is pretty cool. I haven't actually added Axelar yet, so it makes me not want to talk about it. Not that, but we're just a group of friends at this point, so I might as well. But yeah, this is making me wonder if this thing's got legs. And if you don't know, and if you haven't been watching the show, the founders of Axelar are also founders of Algorand, the founding team of Algorand. And Sergey, I think, is pretty instrumental in the pure proof of stake, by the way. So let's read what he's saying. Sommelier has pioneered the architecture for non-custodial access to sophisticated DeFi strategies. Axelar GMP enables Sommelier to pass strategy instructions to vaults on Arbitrum 1, unlocking its strategy's potential. Cool. All right. So anyways, back to MicroStrategy. That article, but this guy, and I don't know, this, I ran into this post. Let's share this tab instead. You guys are good, right? Yeah, you can see me. I noticed I had a bunch of DMs. Usually when I have a bunch of DMs at this point is people being like, you're not sharing your screen. All right. So this guy is saying MicroStrategy earnings, few initial diamonds, operating loss, even backing out impairment charges. Coinbase is fronting cash for big Bitcoin buys. Less than $2.2 billion in long-term debt obligations creeping up. Plan to dump shares in Bitcoin to cover it. Okay, I think that this is not genuine. They're bleeding cash, dumping shares. All right, I don't know. I think this guy's trying to poke holes, maybe, and they're probably valid in a lot of different ways. But this isn't right now. Is not the time for me to dive into this report. So, but so there's skeptics. Let's just say that you guys can go down this wormhole if you want with MicroStrategy, Rowrider at Rowrider. I don't know who he is, and I don't know what his track record is. So there you go. Deal with it. This article caught my eye. The bank crisis isn't over, but it might end with CBDCs. Big banks eating up little banks might lead to a central bank digital currency in America. And I think this is also, he is a friend of the Next Block, Mark Yusko. I think has been on the show a couple of times, their show a couple of times. Not my show. But Mark Yusko says, we are witnessing an ongoing bank crisis that is far from over and can lead to a bigger problem that may arrive in the form of CBDCs. Basically his whole point is He says that the ongoing banking mess in America is a far worse problem. We're fundamentally chipping away at the bedrock of what makes our society great. Yusko says the failures are eroding confidence in the fractional reserve system, a system that he argues is essential in enabling capital to work. Without financial institutions, capital sits idle in mattresses and countries implode. Ippolito says the emerging two-tier banking system is a very real threat that is materializing in front of our eyes. Just allowing these regional banks to fail and having all these assets get accumulated at a couple mega banks is an undesirable outcome. And then Yusko says that is the plan. It is sinister and it is happening right in front of our eyes. It appears, Yusko suggests, that the alleged plan is to allow an erosion of confidence in the banking system, leading deposits to funnel into largest institutions, which can be controlled at the government level. Pair this trend with the CBDC that further corrals financial controls into the central bank's direct grasp, blah, blah, blah. I mean, let's just get to the Algorand stuff, guys. Anyways, and then he's saying that, hey, we're the government. The government's going to come in and be like, we'd like to help. And then you can have this lovely CBDC and, and the other guy doubts that it's that coordinated. Anyways. All right. So let's just look quick at this article from 6 years ago. And I found it was like almost like a time capsule for me. No incentive. Algorand blockchain sparks debate at cryptography event. Should incentives in blockchain systems be a last resort? The developer of the Algorand proof of stake system thinks so, but other experts disagree. Look at Silvio. Look at him behind a podium with a little projector. Can you say anything about incentives in Algorand? The question was directed to Silvio Macaulay. And then he said, incentives are the hardest thing to do. In 30 years as a cryptographer, he had spent the last 10 working on just that issue. As he explained, when you put incentives out there, people learn how to use those incentives for making money in ways that are nearly impossible to predict. He pointed to Bitcoin as a prime example, saying his creator probably never imagined Bitcoin's incentive structure would lead to an industrial scale mining pools. Macaulay, whatever, who cares, also argued those using a system do not necessarily need to be rewarded for trivial computations, and that while Bitcoin miners are compensated for their work, validators who, in contrast, do not have to invest in expensive equipment and electricity are not rewarded. He said, we must use incentives as a last resort. I believe I can make Algorand work without incentives, but I have no formal proof that I can, because these formal proofs are much harder than the proofs of Algorand. Well, interesting, because we know that Algorand is working on incentives. So are we at the last resort? Intended as a public blockchain, Algorand contains a novel version. Okay, we're good. Yet the idea of a consensus algorithm that offers no incentives runs counter to the thinking of many, including those working on the decentralized application network Ethereum, a blockchain project working on a proof of stake system of its own called Casper. I believe Casper is the same Casper as Casper Labs that friend of Algorand, Anthony Scaramucci, has seemed to move on to. We basically, and this is Vitalik Buterin, we basically explicitly put incentives front and center. He described Ethereum's approach as fundamentally about how much money stakeholders can lose as opposed to the approach taken with Algorand. One thing I would be concerned about is if you have no incentives at all, then that means you have no incentive not to be lazy and go offline. Ethereum developer Vlad Zamfir, who is heavily invested in building Casper, has stronger words. He stated he simply did not think such a system would work. My whole perspective on the space is like polar opposite. I don't believe the people are honest assumption, he said. There's a small number of people who control most of the coins and most proof-of-stake systems. It's not that hard for people to coordinate to undermine protocol guarantees. Cornell Associate Professor Eamon Gun Sire, isn't that the Avalanche guy? Also questioned the idea Macaulay put forth. Sire pointed out that while it's true Bitcoin's participants are not always fully incentivized, a lot of people run full nodes altruistically. But to go from that and to say, since Bitcoin works and it's not fully incentivized, ergo, and any systems will work, that is not incentivized, there's a gap there. But some had an altogether different take on the matter. Charlie Hoskinson, CEO of IOHK, pointed to BitTorrent as an example of a system that works just fine while not being incentivized at all. No token exists, and you aren't paid anything to share files on the network. Justin Sun try to change that. And I think BitTorrent is about as dead as it's ever been. Another example he points to is Folding at Home, where thousands of people freely donate idle processing power for disease research. Charles Hoskinson has always been an admirer of Silvio McCauley, and he seems to be taking the position that Silvio might not be full of it here. It's an open question of whether you need incentives or not, and I don't think it can be determined in an academic model. It is actually going to be determined by evidence. You launch something and you see what happens. Well, Algorand has. They've seen what happens, and it appears that they're shifting. Now, we do know that Algorand has been up and running for a while now, and there's been no downtime. There's been no attacks. So the lack of incentives has worked. But I think moving forward, they realize they identify that there's a problem, and it seems that they might be. Let's go here. Now I will say, sorry guys, give me 1 second while I go here. I didn't have this queued up, but I wanted to. Okay. So, last night before I went to bed, I watched The Next Block with Gary Maloof. Gary Maloof is the VP of engineering at Algorand Inc. The Next Block guys did a great job, and they talked about just this. Now, I would have liked, and if Crypto for Change has joined, I wish they'd followed up with Gary a little bit, because Gary said, look, early on, they didn't need incentives, but now they are exploring it, and they're going to explore incentives for running nodes with the community. Now, what I think that means is that we're going to all be voting on whether running a participation node will be required for either XGov or governance. So there will be some incentive if we include participation nodes into that. Now, we all know that John Woods, friend of the show, has been working on one-click nodes. And so that will make it much easier for these participation nodes. But what we also learned yesterday, and I would have loved to hear Gary talk about, like, why didn't they need incentives now? And what is it about the current landscape that they believe that they do now need incentives? Because Silvio has been, pretty against incentives for a long time. And I have heard from people in the ecosystem being like, yeah, Silvio does not like incentives, but it seems like he's coming around to it. So I really would like to know, why are they coming around to wanting to incentivize nodes? Would have been a good follow-up question, David. Just kidding. I know how it goes. But then interestingly, they're talking about actually marginalizing relay nodes, which, look, folks, when I got into Algorand, I had two questions. I literally had two questions. And these things have dogged me forever, but then there was so much that I liked that I looked past it. But my first question when I was researching Algorand is like, why the hell isn't there an incentive for consensus, for validating? I didn't understand that. But then I saw how easy it was. They talked about how you could, run a participation node on a Raspberry Pi, and it wasn't necessary. And my other thing was, aren't these relay nodes centralized? But then you realize, the actual consensus and validation is happening on participation nodes. But then you ask, how are relay nodes sustainable, right? If these are so integral to how fast and secure and no downtime and all of that stuff, if these relay nodes are so integral to the ecosystem, and I'm hearing they're pretty expensive, and there is a bit of, there's a centralized aspect to it. Not just anybody can truly run a relay node. I know that there are other ways in certain disaster scenarios where highly technical people can run a relay node, and then participation nodes can start directing their node towards that relay node and all of that. But that is a huge cluster that we would never want to get to. So it's much, better to have these relay nodes. But then, so I wanted to know, how is this even sustainable? Like, when all the algo are distributed by 2030, what is going to be the incentive to run relay nodes? Well, the story we were told, and which is still probably the case, is that businesses building their huge thing on the Algorand blockchain will have a giant financial incentive for the Algorand blockchain to run properly. So it'll just become a cost of their business to run one of these relay nodes. Okay. Now, to me, there's a lot of assumptions there. And so I always sort of was like, well, how does this work? And then I just felt like last night, holy crap, they're addressing all of this. So participation nodes with consultation with the community, and obviously community governance and voting on it and all of that is on the, as you know, it seems like it's on the ticket to be incentivized at the same time as the foundation, John Woods, and everybody are working on making running a participation node much, much easier. They're calling them one-click nodes. And then what I didn't know, which I thought was really cool, is that they are working on ways for these participation nodes to gossip with each other and perform many of the consensus and mechanisms, many of all of that happening just between participation nodes without even needing relay nodes. Now, they said that their goal is to make relay nodes much cheaper to run. And then if there are these large projects on Algorand where we'll need to route things through a relay node, these relays will still continue to exist. But to further decentralize the protocol, you'll be able to run all of this without relay nodes, just peer-to-peer. Thought that was pretty damn cool. What do you guys think? I want to go back to you guys. Let's talk, folks. It's been a while. I didn't check in a while. All right. Are you guys still here? You are. All right. Let's see what you guys are talking about, because I know there's a lot of smart guys in here. Oh, sorry. So David is here. JT should add that. No, I loved your guys'. I really enjoyed Gary as well. I don't know. I liked him. You know what I mean? I just like nice guys, and he seems genuine, and he seems to really care about it. I'm not gonna lie. You guys did a good job. I'm teasing, but I would have liked to know why the change. It seemed like an obvious fucking follow-up, JT. I'm just kidding. You guys, I don't know how you guys do it though, with three of you having to ask questions, because you might have a great follow-up, but then somebody else starts talking and then the conversation changes. That's a hard thing to do. 3 interviewers for one person isn't the easiest thing. So I commend you guys. Genuinely do a fantastic job. But what I want to say is, what the hell was I going to say? I did want to know the change, but I got distracted. All right, but let's just go back. Should have asked that question. All right. Well, at least I can love you guys. All right. Everyday Algonaut says you can run relay node now with one click. No, you can't. Everyday Algonaut. Monero nodes come under attack for some reason. Really? Well, I think that one reason is probably in your name there, Ryan. Is the U.S. government going after Monero? Non-archival relay nodes is what they're doing. Right. That's what it was. It makes it easier if they don't have to maintain the entire history of the blockchain. It seems like it's no longer necessary. Look, we're getting out of my depth as well, by the way. So some of what I say will be nonsense at some point. And I do not believe you should be incentivized to run the participation nodes, but it is better if you are incentivized to make your account online. Okay. So I believe that Ludo's saying in general, you shouldn't just be incentivized to run a participation node, because if you can run one and that you can be a terrible participation node and it's bad for the network. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ludo, but what you seem to be saying is you be incentivized for maintaining being online. which would actually be good for the network. Yeah, and I have to say, just that's what I was going to talk about is my speculation. Are you guys here for my speculation? You guys like it when I speculate? Um, just hearing Gary talk. Oh, Gary Maloof talk. And the way he kind of talked about it at the end when they did bring up regulation a little bit, and Gary Gensler, and he kind of was just like, oh my God. And he'd clearly seen some of these videos and he thought it was funny. And David, I thought it was a lot of fun. He's like, well, what is Silvio? I wanted to know that too. I was like, oh, that's a good question. What does Silvio say about Gary? Are these people friends? You know what I mean? But I have to say, they're obviously, look, if the beginnings of Algorand and forever, as far as to recently me hearing that Silvio didn't like incentives, if now Silvio's open to incentives, and if they are really decentralizing the way that the participation nodes communicate with each other, that can handle transactions and consensus on its own. And also, by the way, I think it's coming very soon. Instant transaction finality is going down even lower to, I believe, like 3.2, 3.3 seconds. Algorand is so unbelievably fast. But in that capacity. But my point is that doesn't this seem like, even when you read that Bittrex lawsuit or complaint or whatever you want to call it, it did allow for the fact that it was during a certain period that Algorand was a security. And to me, these types of moves to further decentralize the protocol and make it more sustainable, because like I said, I think it's genuine concerns. Like, obviously Algorand on some level is struggling to get major network effects. And if 2030 rolls by and they keep on, the foundation keeps on dumping money on bikes, I'm just kidding. It's never been my gripe, but anyways, but and then we have no more money for relay nodes. That's not sustainable. So the fact that they're making it more sustainable is exciting. But my point is that maybe we truly are working into a place where algo moves from a security in the SEC's eye to more of a commodity for this decentralized platform that truly does solve the blockchain trilemma. So my point is, if you guys have been watching the show for a while, I have a new level of enthusiasm. I'm excited about it. All right. Also, if the cost is very low, the ethos itself could let you run them, and the incentives can stay on participators. But then those businesses control the network. We know the benefits of Algorand, but why no adoption? I mean, there is adoption, especially when you compare it to a lot of these other ones. But you're right. There isn't like, look, what is blockchain adoption at this point, right? There is Bitcoin being adopted by nations and just like really kind of adopted as a, obviously as a store of value, and a decentralized network that kind of cannot be censored, and all of these things where people in all different parts of the world can all participate in one thing and hold their value, especially in countries that are being highly inflated, places like Argentina or wherever, United States, England at this current state. But the point is there's that, right? And then you have Ethereum, which is the original. And you're going to see is basically, I think still that you're going to have Bitcoin at top. Then you're going to have Ethereum, which is going to be rebranded as Coinbase chain. It's going to be a large thing that places like Coinbase and these huge institutions like in that vein are going to be able to use. But it takes so much work to make Ethereum usable. It's crazy. There's going to be layer one winners. And Algorand, and then, okay, and so then you get past Ethereum. Now, where is there really any adoption of blockchain technology? Where? There is NFT communities and speculation and creative communities, which a lot of us are heavily in. So it can seem very much like, oh man, they have so much more liquidity and activity over there. They have adoption. But if you really kind of get past that type of thing, and then, certain DeFi stuff, I guess. I mean, do a lot of layer ones have really exciting DeFi? I don't know. I mean, obviously the adoption's at Ethereum, but everyone else, all of this great tech, there's not a ton of adoption. Is there pushback? You guys have pushback on what I'm saying? Because I think that there is space for major adoption from a layer one. And I think that much of the problem with Algorand has been this idea of centralization. And it seems that they're working on that. Yeah, you guys should definitely have him back. This was the real Gary. Mel, you're right. Yeah, it's not always easy, but sometimes it helps, gives us time to think of good questions. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying about that too, is that, it takes some pressure off and you can be like, oh, I want to take this in another direction. You can let a certain topic play out and then you can take your question. It's good. And isn't that the most important in the grand scheme of things? I think that decentralization. Yeah. I prefer this company like interviews. Sylvia made a President Whitmore Independence Day speech to his team. Bendable better than Monero, hopefully. Governor's hat to some extent, but first we need more businesses running those relay nodes, else it's a small group, which is pretty centralized. The online state is when you create participation keys for your account. It does not matter which server is validating blockchain with your participation keys. The main thing is that you select server who you trust will not do harm to the blockchain. Gary had never seen that song that was created, and we showed him after the show and told him to show. Did he think it was hilarious? I think that's what we all mean, Ludo. No one is proposing we incentivize people just for running. Oh, God. True. I still think they need to also use fee sync as a supplement and to get sufficient adoption. Could it be that the bad Gary gave a signal to what we should work against and also market Algorand at the same time? The bad Gary. Look, I mean, this is so stupid and speculative, and I'm going to do it anyways, but doesn't it seem like there would be a heads up between those two? Doesn't it? It just feels like there would be. Being like, hey, like, this isn't going to work, and you guys need to move towards this, or else we're going to have to do this. It's not like, oh, friendly backdoor, but there might be a friendly conversation being like, all right, well, what do you need me to do? And what do you need us to do? And he's like, well, I need you to do this, this, and this. So I don't know. I think, and also just like, by the way, it just eliminates, if we can get participation nodes, one-click participation nodes, and we're able to do consensus with participation nodes, peer-to-peer, like in that gossip way, then we don't need the Algorand Foundation anymore for all that type of stuff, for the health of the network. It really does become so independent. We're not relying on the foundation to, using the treasury to supplement the relay nodes. So I there's something here that I like. Pepe's adoption. Yeah, I mean, and that's true. That's true. But I think a lot of us are wondering, because we believe in the technology, Pepe is adoption of people wanting to play and have fun and get gains and laugh and have a chuckle. You know what I mean? That is adoption. I'm not discounting that at all. I enjoy a good game. I enjoy a good roll of the dice. all of that stuff. I can, I'm not against you guys, anybody playing around and making it happen and believing in the power of humor and going viral and the power of memes, all that stuff. But I think some of us are looking in the future and being like, all right, I'm trying to stake my claim here. I'm trying to be part of I believe in the future of this technology on a grand scale for real world use cases. And that's why a lot of us came to Algorand. Now, the issue is that we don't have a Pepe, we have a Kita, but we don't have enough liquidity, like you're saying, that lack of to really support in a real cool way that type of thing, that type of energy. But I'm sorry, guys, my brain is a little slow today. I'm getting better though. I'm getting better. I'm going to get better. I'm recouping. I'm recouping from 4 days off. But what was I going to say? What was I saying? I was just saying that there's a difference between certain types of adoption, right? That's it. And I'm not saying that a certain type of adoption with NFTs and meme coins and all of that stuff is not valuable or needed or necessary, because if that were here, that type of adoption attracts more and more eyes, more and more institutional money, more and more opportunity, because no VC, and this might be more what Ivan is even talking about, is that when a person comes in to look at an ecosystem and thinks, okay, am I going to put a significant amount of money into this? And they don't see a lot of people or a lot of activity, they're not going to do it. They're going to look to where that is. So that makes it hard to gain any steam. Now, I believe because of who Silvio Macaulay is and who their entire tech team is and the history of what he has developed, there's serious people that take Silvio very seriously. And you're seeing a lot of movement in the EU, in India, and all of these other places outside of the United States that are attempting to launch and use Algorand's blockchain technology, because it doesn't necessarily need to have all of that action. But really, if we're going to get some escape velocity, we do need some of that action. So I'm not really disagreeing with you, Ivan. I'm just saying that I don't see it anywhere. Pepe is adoption in the sense, and that's happening on Ethereum. So there is adoption on Ethereum. There is adoption on Bitcoin. I just don't really see adoption anywhere else outside of NFT communities. Like Solana has a vibrant NFT community, or it did. And, Cardano does too. But frankly, I find Algorand DeFi more compelling than both of them. Now, is that because it's incentivized? Well, maybe, but still. Yeah. Patrick says adoption, El Salvador, Italy, Marshall Islands, India. Marshall Islands, I think that must have been canceled because, obviously the U.S. has a say over the Marshall Islands. El Salvador, we haven't heard a lot from it recently. Italy is interesting. And I think you missed, Patrick, India, because I think that is huge. And I believe it was in the interview yesterday on the Next Block where Gary Maloof said something about they're seeing a lot of developer activity, like a huge increase in developer activity after the launch of AlgoKit, and predominantly in India. We've talked about it previously in the show. I think India is about to flip China in population. And, look, geopolitical tensions in the world, there's a divide of superpowers, and there's going to be a huge, Algorand's on the front here, because the largest tech hub in India, their only blockchain partnership so far is Algorand. And, companies like Apple, all of these huge tech companies that rely so heavily on China are moving to India. So India is probably going to have the most explosive growth that we could possibly imagine. And you have Algorand in that country at the largest, most important tech hub that they have, the only blockchain partner. And you launch AlgoKit, and if you look at all the new developers that are onboarding onto Algorand, they're coming from India. So hopefully our hopium on what is going on with that, or copium, however you want to put it, that was going on with that Bittrex lawsuit is not going to kill Algorand in the United States. Because if you talk about liquidity and activity, if you take the US people out of the Algorand equation, that is going to seriously hamper it. Will it kill it? Probably not, but it will be terrible. So let's just hope that our little blockchain that can navigate those relationships that have been built over years and do the things that need to be done to be left the hell alone. Iowa taco trucks. Yeah, that taco truck, it would be hilarious. Taco Coin should run a participation node on their truck. At the moment, most projects want to find blockchain lover customers. In future, we suspect, I guess, projects will just bring their already customers on chain. I think that the projects that believe that are coming to Algorand. Now, I thought maybe like next gens. I'm not going to lie. I thought, okay, well, he's Little Dirk. I know that guy's popular. That should bring people over. But it seemed like Little Dirk wasn't. I know. Was he super committed to this? By the way, I last week said I was going to get shoes, and they've been delayed. I guarantee. Did somebody steal my damn shoes at the FedEx? Because they've been at the same location for like 6 days. They were supposed to get here last Wednesday, and they still haven't arrived. They've just been stuck at this stupid FedEx. Anyways, okay. Brazil, it says, Patrick, Italy, are you sure? Well, yeah, Bank of Italy, the loan guarantees and the bank guarantees, the insurance guarantees are on the they're building a program for them to be on the Algorand blockchain. I don't know if that's live yet. Yeah, pre-design stage. Node runners actually decide on software upgrade. Yeah, so there you go. Ivan is pointing out the fact that software upgrades can be initiated, but all the node runners have to accept it, or they have to actually execute it. Mort saying my point well, and probably a much more concise and good way. Very few blockchains have any real world adoption, and it's all speculation. Algo has more than most. He was dying laughing. Go directly to jail. Oh God, you guys want to watch that? Just kidding. We don't have to do that. I gotta go. Said Silvio might think it's a little weird with the cursing. Yeah. Well, because it is a little weird. That guy is so weird. I saw him in his, I guess he was in his car yelling about Pepe and, basically making fun of how angry certain people are about Pepe. He's weird as hell, that guy. He's pretty funny. What's his name again? Gabriel? Gabriel.eth. Good job. Yeah, the super majority. There you go. Silvio's such a genuine guy. Okay, Pepe. Oh, that was smart. Pepe Go ETH pool is live on Pact. This is a great way to get people into Algorand and show them a beautiful user experience with no gas fees. Hell yeah. That was smart to not pair it with that was smart. I like the Go ETH Pepe. All right. Well, guys, anybody, I'll put my little tin can out if you want to tip me Pepe. I'll add the asset to ReCoop.algo. This is a command with which you can run a participation node. I think Restream did not want your command, or YouTube, I mean. Yes. Governor Hat says Gov and XGov are only about distribution of foundation algos. Consensus changes must be done via the nodes. And then Mel says, don't know. I think maybe developer adoption is more important these times. Yeah, it is. And I don't know how to really, I don't know how good the stats are on developers on chains. I know that Algorand is competitive in the amount of developers. And if what I've read is accurate, there's a lot of development happening on Polkadot as well. Yeah, and retail memes. This is the thing: is people getting mad about memes. I just don't think that people really. I think people know that what they're doing. At least with the memes, people can only 5,000 USD. Send help. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of slippage. You're not going to be making huge. I mean, I'll bridge over my my 250 million Pepe. Probably not worth the price of all that. Yeah. Only 1 million people could ever hold 10,000 algo. That's currently less than $2,000. We need an army of diamond-handed degenerate apes. Where are my apes at? I think they're supposed to this year. Mel. Go ask Google and come back to me. I think the new thing is Ask Bing. I don't know leaks. No way every business will run on mainnet. This is not realistic. Yeah, there's going to be wanting to be, private chains and stuff like that, especially when it comes to governments and all of that. There should definitely be, and now GovHat, you're saying there's only 200 participation nodes. We got to do better than that. I think there's 110 relay nodes. Okay. So Brazil participation nodes, anybody can run. They you stake your algo and you don't earn any rewards, but it doesn't take a lot of energy. It doesn't take all this, and it's random. It's a pure proof of stake, and the relays send the information, and then the participation nodes actually confirm it, or validate it. Better words. So look, I don't have time. I'm 24 minutes past to actually explain the participation nodes. But Governor Hat said it nicely. They're the nodes that propose and vote on blocks. Gary. All right. There are participation nodes, the official software by Algorand, the same as archival or relay nodes, but different configurations. Then there is users who have accounts. They can create the participation keys and give the participation nodes the right to create blocks. Sorry, I know that. I got to get past that conversation. I hope you guys figure it out together, though. The NODL gang. What is the NODL gang? The nodal? So not hold something on dear life. Cool. All right, guys. Well, look, I appreciate you guys. Are you going to tell me what NODL is before I go? Anybody? Bueller? You know what we're going to do? I'm going to say goodbye to you guys with this. In case you haven't seen it. Count on our friend Zen. Have it easy. Easily accessible. I got lots of notifications here. Okay. We're going to end today with this.
Uber on top of it. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Algorand. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Uber on top of it. Great technology.
Oh no, Gary Shilling shit's going to get declaring that they are security. It's time to no longer pretend that he's never been genuine. Oh, can we get feeling on company time.
Oh, Gary, looks like you fucked up, oh, Mr. Gensler. Looks like you were promoting Algorand, and then you made it a goddamn security. Go directly to
Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand.
go directly to
Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Great technology. Sylvia McCally's Algorand. Uber on top of it. Great technology. The best performance you could create. Uber on top of it. The question is then, who would update this?
Pretty fun, right? Pretty fun. IRL's channel. I hope you get your shoes. Thank you, Felicia. Okay, no more participation node talk for me. Oh, Gary. All right, Richard. Thank you guys so much. Shek, don't forget Algo Hour this afternoon. That happens today. What is today? Tuesday. I'm going to check out Algo Hour. I watched the next block yesterday. I'm watching Algo Hour today. What time is it, Shek? Let's give people a time for IRL. Yeah, when is Algo Hour? There you go. Love Rumi. I needed this. Thanks, Coop. Voting for upgrades happens by updating the node software. Exactly, Hat. Oh, Gary. All right, goodbye, Samino. Good to see you, man. CJ, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, Algo Hour at 10 Eastern. All right, I'm going to give it a listen, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow is the big Fed meeting. We're going to celebrate tomorrow morning with a big pre-Fed meeting party. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Have a